Alright, we're moving on then. Goodbye, Lord of Hollows.
The Fire Hollow. Something changes when I hold it. I can feel its power coursing through my hands. I feel nothing. Like wading through a pond.
Hello, Borana. Alright, so here we go with the Fire Hollow. This is quite possibly the most useful hollow for traversal, because as you just saw, it allows us to become immune to heat, so we can walk through lava, and it allows us to flame jump higher, and this flame jump is something that we're going to be using so many times throughout the entire game that basically, unless you have another color preference, I advise to just keep the Flame Hollow equipped the entire time, because it will make your traversal so much easier. And as you can see, I put the Leviathan enhancement on the flame weapon so that we can actually get extra souls from smashing stuff while also getting the benefits from Fortifier enhancement. We are going to pick up another enhancement here in the Hollows, honestly the best enhancement in the entire game if you ask me, which is the Chaos enhancement that will give us health heal. So we're going to get to that eventually. Now, it's never explicitly said where exactly in terms of the realms the Hollows is, only that it is neither angelic nor demonic. It's not in hell, it's a completely separate realm of its own. But at some point the Watcher will speculate that maybe this stuff was built by humans, which begs the question, why are there humans in other realms? And if it wasn't humans who built this, then who was it? It is very reminiscent, in case you guys remember, of the realm that the Shark Council resides in, which is also basically made out of stone and lava. And there is actually a very good reason for that, which we will get to later. For now I'm just going to try to get rid of all of these guys. And we're actually lucky that this guy was so far away, because I hate this enemy so much. It blocks like crazy. His attacks are relatively difficult to dodge, especially this one. And I just hate fighting him. Alright, there we go. Gonna take a quick jump down here to get a demonic artifact. So, similar to the angelic ones we have already picked up, except demonic, obviously. Oh, shit. This is what happens when you play two different games in the series at the same time. You mix up your button prompts. I played Darksiders 2 earlier today, and I just tried to use the left button to take a health potion, which is not how it works in this game. Alright. Let's get back up here. And there we go with our refill. Now this area over there, we will not be able to reach just yet. We will have to come back there way, way later in the game.
I can see a similarity here. The flame speaks to us both.
Hey, Sasha,
I am your mistress. Look above his head. The crystal.
I am not looking anywhere except this enemy because I need to defeat him. Now when this guy dies, make sure you get away because he's gonna explode. Fun fact, the very first time I fought this guy, I was basically at 2 health points with no potions left. I defeated him and I was like, great, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, and then I died from the explosion. So, fun times. Thankfully we don't have to fight these guys very often, so not too much to worry about there.
These poor lost souls. I feel no envy for them.
If you were any softer, you'd be a cloud watcher.
Alright. Now, fun fact, another fun fact, this serpent hole was not originally in the game. This was patched in, I think, 2 or 3 patches later. And it was mainly because people had been dying in troves in this area of the game, and every time you died you had to like go a huge way back to get to the next serpent hole, and so people were complaining about there not being enough checkpoints here, so that's why the serpent hole is here. But yes, I remember the days before the serpent hole existed, and it was not fun. Now, once again, we're gonna take a short dip in the lava before we move on. And now we are just about to get into one of the toughest fights in the game.
It appears your poor lost souls have found a purpose. Aren't you thrilled for them?
Just after we defeat these guys, we will get to the first one of the Chosen, and that guy is such a massive pain in the ass, especially, I don't think we have actually leveled up yet, have we? Oh yes, we have. Okay, cool. If you fight this guy without level ups, he's going to be massively difficult, especially if you do it on Apocalyptic. So, this is normal difficulty. Hopefully it will be okay. And there we go. Open up the pathway to him. And he is essentially a reskinned version, a flame-themed version of an enemy we will see later on. Almost all of the Chosen are actually reskinned versions of other enemies. But this dude can be kind of tough just because of how early you actually fight him.
The Earth never ceases to impress with its variety of abominations.
I thought they had all been destroyed.
You know these things?
When they roamed free, we called them the Chosen.
So, interesting thing here, the Watcher is implying that these were specifically hunted to be either locked away or destroyed. And it is never said whether the Chosen from this game are the same as the Chosen from Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2. But basically, according to Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2, the Chosen are basically employed by the Destroyer, who is the demon ruling over Earth at the time. And basically recruited to be like his most loyal servants. And all of them are all deserts. They are not exactly demons. They are something else, and as we will learn later in this game, is that the Chosen actually are very peculiar in creation, because unlike most other things in creation, they were not created by the creator. They are completely independent, and that actually sounds kind of neat until you realize that this basically means they are empty and hollow. So, and only filled with hatred. So these guys, quite a challenge, and one of the more mysterious creatures. So this stuff can be used to upgrade an enhancement to maximum level, and we're going to go into the inventory in just a bit to get the lore blip on this. Just want to collect everything here, and yes, we lost 2 Nephilim respites to this guy, but it's worth it, because you do want to get all of those 6 essences of a chosen that you can get in one playthrough in order to upgrade all your enhancements. So, there we go. The Chosen are creatures fueled by anger. The Creator turned its back on them long ago, leaving them empty, cold, lacking the spark of life that courses through all things. None know why the Chosen were forgotten, not even the Chosen themselves. Now they wander, acting on the only thing left to them: hatred. So, who were these things before? Nobody knows. But, yeah. Apparently the Creator is a dick. Who knew? I mean, pretty much up and abandoned the universe anyway, so... Alright, here we go. I gotta say, the design of all of these elements kind of reminds me... It looks a bit like a mixture between angelic and Kingdom of the Dead designs from Darksiders 2, to be honest. But again, nobody really knows who created all of these chambers in the Hollow.
Interesting. These chambers seem out of place.
They are old. Neither of heaven nor hell, to be sure. Early humans, perhaps.
Perhaps.
I'm a clever thing, mistress, but even I do not know everything. Especially when it comes to the minds of men.
So yeah, the Watcher is basically telling us might have been humans, but honestly, how would humans even get into the realm of the Lord of Hollows? Like, where is this realm? Now, let me see if I can trigger some more dialogue here. No? Okay. There's a line that Fury will sometimes say when she gets here, where she basically refers to the swords as something that can be useful, and the Watcher goes like, why do you see everything as a weapon? Because everything can be a weapon. Now we're gonna take care of this dude first, because he's gonna be a pain in the ass if we let him live. And now we can actually go down there. Eventually we will have to come back for this. These are the mini tornadoes for which we need the Storm Hollow. So we're gonna have to come back for these. And also for the enhancement that's hidden over there. I gotta say, I do appreciate that Fury, at least in this game, is able to go through spaces that you would consider her to be able to go through. Like, if this was Darksiders 2 with Death, he would just stand in front of this hole like, guess I'm not going. Alright, and here's the reason why I saved my Havoc form, why I didn't use it until now. It's because this area here is crawling with enemies. And I want to use Havoc form for that, to get rid of as many of them as possible. because otherwise this is just going to be a massive pain in the ass. There we go. Got rid of almost all of them. Oh. Alright. And now we're going to slowly work our way through those upper balconies. There's going to be 2 archers here that are going to try to snipe us. So let's hope we can get rid of them relatively easily. But this is very good practice for using the Flame Hollow, so let's get used to those double jumps. Ah! Fuck! There we go. This is what happens when you get hit by one of these. Okay, nothing down there. And here is our second archer, so let's get rid of this one. Okay. Last set of alcoves, and then we're done here. Oh, almost. We still have to do the ground floor. Okay. And now, same deal, just smash everything, collect all the things, especially in the beginning of the game. You really want to collect and explore as much as you can, because every single soul that you get is going to help you level up. And in this game in particular, you really feel the level ups. They can make or break your experience here, so really make sure you get it all. And I like to think this is kind of anger management therapy for Fury. Just break all the stuff. Alright, now we can move on. Now, these flame sack kind of things you have to be careful with. There are a few where if you do this, you might glitch through the ceiling and then basically get locked out of the game world. I do recommend using the long-range weapon you will get later as soon as you get it in order to take care of these things, because otherwise you might just glitch yourself out of the game world. Let's try not to do that. But for now, the only thing we can do is flame jump into those, so that's what we're going to be doing. Come on. Perfect. Now we get to one of my favorite dialogues in this entire game.
So, 3 swords total?
So it seems.
It's always 3, isn't it?
Pardon?
3 keys, 3 stones, 3 swords. Rather predictable, don't you think?
Have you lost your mind?
No. I just hate it when the creator takes shortcuts.
Which both refers to the creator as in-universe God, but also you can consider it poking fun at the devs poking fun at themselves, because in Darksiders 2, which came just before this game, there were so many 3s. You had to collect 3 dead lords, and then they sent you to collect 3 souls, and then they sent you to collect three, I don't know what keys or whatever, and you're like, just like, can you please just pick a different number for a change? So anyway, interesting thing to note here, these statues are pretty much exactly the same design as the ones in Darksiders 1 in the Twilight Cathedral. So maybe the Watcher is onto something when she says that maybe this stuff was built by humans, but then the question still remains, how did humans get here? Because I'm pretty sure this is not on Earth. Alright, there we go. Now, I'm going to be very carefully working my way around here, because otherwise it's going to be very easy to get overwhelmed by the enemies. I want to try to avoid that. So, here we go. Alright, come here. Hopefully we can get these guys before we attract the attention of all the other enemies down here. Ah, there he is. Another one of these idiots. Just die already. Oh, and I completely forgot to show you guys, but every hollow comes with its own special power that you can use, in addition to the new weapon with its new charged up attack. And I think it's about time I showed you guys what this looks like for the Flame Hollow, because it is really, really neat. So as soon as we get to these guys... And here we go. I am now officially on fire. Looking very hot, Fury. Very hot. And here we go with the fire punt, yes. Everybody, please get it out of your system. With our brand new powers. Ouch. Now, that attack that he just did there, I can never dodge that. I don't know why. But this little, like, push forward always gets me. Always. This. Like, what the fuck, dude? And there we go. Alright, just gonna continue smashing up everything here. And it doesn't really matter whether you go to the left side first or to the right side. You have to do both anyway. But I think I'm going to go to the left side first, just because the right side has a room with a ridiculous amount of enemies. And I would really like to save that for when we have Havoc Form back. Alright, so let's just jump up here. I love you guys in the chat with all the puns. I think we should be getting just about to the area where we will find the enhancement that I was talking about. Yes, right over here. So before we go down there, as we are supposed to, we're just gonna go through this crawl space. Oh, this way. Sorry. And again, we're going to very carefully take care of each of these enemies individually. So we're going to start with this group. And then very carefully work our way into this corner. We want to get at least these two guys alone before we go for the other one in the back. Ah, goddammit, I did get both of them at the same time. Okay. Ow, 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 that hurt. Alright, there we go, the Chaos Enhancement. Best enhancement in the entire game, if you ask me. So we're going to be putting that on our whip right away. And this is one of the ones where the lore blip is basically very uninteresting. Doesn't actually refer to anything in particular. But this thing is very good because not only does it increase our Havoc form duration by 112% even in base form. This can go up to 200% if we max it. But also it gives us health steal, which is amazing. So we're going to be wearing that for the rest of the game. And now we can get back to where we were actually supposed to be going. As usual, smash everything. And also burn everything. So we are upgrading from just smashing things to burning things. And hi there, bomb bug. Come over here. Eat your food. Thank you. And now he unfortunately has to go. You gotta wonder, what kind of species is that? Like, how do these things even survive and live to breed? If they basically are attracted to things that make them explode. That sounds like it should be an evolutionary niche or something. Like an evolutionary dead end. But I'm guessing they thrive in the apocalypse, so good for us. Alright, there we go. Now I'm just gonna burn all of those webs. As for the webs, the blue ones will stay burned. The red ones will grow back eventually. So that's the main difference between those. But I do appreciate the practicality of Fury's traversal. She can run, she can crouch, she can double jump. That's all I'm asking. Like, that's just... give me the basics. We're good. Now, also a thing to note, as long as you are carrying this sword around, Fury will use the sword instead of the whip, which looks cool, but you cannot put enhancements on these swords, so that's why I don't like using them. But if you ever wanted to see what it would look like if Fury was wielding Chaos Eater, it would probably be something like this. Alright. One down, one more to go, and we almost have our Havoc form back, so that's good, because we're gonna need it. Alright, let me see. I was hoping our Havoc form would have recharged by now, but I might just wait here until it does, because it shouldn't be long. Because once we drop down there, or I could just drop down and start destroying all of these skeleton mounts. Once we start dropping down there, it will spawn a whole lot of enemies, and the longer you stay down there, the more enemies there will be. So I would really prefer to have Havoc form for that. It regenerates both automatically over time, but also as you kill enemies. So I think I'm just gonna start going down there and breaking everything. And hopefully have enough Havoc form, Havoc energy soon enough to actually switch, because... yes, thank you. Because this room, you look at it at first and you're like, oh, it's just a bunch of skeletons, it's fine. And then you realize it's about 20 or 30 skeletons, and I am not fine. Ah, there we go.
I am your end!
Alright, anyone who was not lucky enough to be killed by my Havoc form is gonna get set on fire. I can live with that. There we go. Now again, before you move on, just destroy everything, because there's a bunch of nice items hidden here. Especially this one, the demonic artifact, we're definitely gonna need that. Cool. Now we can actually move on. I do have to ask for who...
Skeletons. Never even break a sweat against skeletons.
I find this line very ironic, because if you're doing this fight without Havoc form, it is one of the more challenging fights in the early game stages. And I have to ask, whose idea were the heals? That does not sound like a comfortable battle gear. How does she even run in those? That's gotta be thousands of years of practice. Alright, and now we get to another one of my favorite lines, which you will only hear if you actually stay here for a little bit. So we're not going to run for the exit immediately. We're just going to stay here until the statue has moved. And this is probably my favorite exchange between the Watcher and Fury.
I think that's our way out.
Really? When the massive statue moves its massive arms so as to create a massive bridge to the exit, you think it's our way out?
I was just excited. You don't have to be mean about it.
Actually, I do.
Don't ever change, you little ball of rage. So the sarcasm is alive and strong in this family.
Mistress?
Easy. Do you hear it?
This is not what we seek. Let us carry on.
Wait. The Maker.
You owe him nothing.
I know. I want him to owe me. Easy, child. Easy. I can lead you to others like you. Humans. Won't that be nice?
Yeah, not so nice. No, 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 no. Now these kids are the absolute nightmare because they are fast, they gang up on you, and they can throw Molotov cocktails, which can actually do quite a bit of damage. And I don't know why, but on my PS4 version they don't talk, but on PC they do. So I'm not sure if that's a difference between platforms or if it's just my game glitching out. But basically on PC they also have like creepy voices saying stuff like play with us or come to us, and so yeah, these kids creepy and actually quite annoying. And they are, I think in the game files, they are called Avarice's children. So the question is, did Avarice create these from scratch? Or did he take human children and corrupt them? But basically they are his little helpers, they find stuff for him and bring it back to him. So we are getting close to Avarice. Somewhat close. Now let me just have a look at how much stuff we have in our inventory. We have about 1,600. That's gonna be... yeah. I do actually want to save my souls for now because... okay, here's the deal. I want to keep at least 6,000 souls because we're going to have... no, 12,000 souls. Because we're going to have to buy something very important from Volgrim after we defeat Avarice. So I'm gonna shatter these crystals now. And I should probably have switched to an armor if I have one. I don't. Okay. We're gonna shatter these crystals now, but we're going to keep 12,000 of the souls we currently have because we're going to need them once we defeat Avarice.
This will be fun for both of us. As you wish.
So that's gonna be all.
Now.
Let's see. More health, more strength. We are now going to get into one of the most creative and beautiful parts of the game, though.
These are definitely not children.
as soon as we get past this absolutely mind-wracking, abysmal jumping sequence that I hate with every single ounce of my soul. Because as you can see, you're going to get firebombed by these kids from hell while you're doing this jump section. And yeah, if any of those Molotov cocktails hit you, you get knocked off a platform. Especially this one over here. This one really likes to throw Molotov cocktails at you while you're jumping from here to here. So this can be really infuriating. But we get lucky this time, so good on us. And here we go. These kids are actually setting traps for us. So when you walk into these, they actually do quite a bit of explosive damage, which is a lot smarter than pretty much any other minion that we meet in the game.
I sense these foul brats don't want us here.
And it appears we have stumbled into a natural history museum. I love this area so much. I mean, aside from the kids that chuck Molotov cocktails at us. I don't like those, but everything else, ouch. Amazing.
I am your end!
Okay. I'm not gonna look at the chat for a minute because I have to be really focused on where I'm going and what I'm hitting. So I'll go back to all of that once I'm done with these kids. And this is another reason, by the way, why I really like using the Flame Hollow. It actually lights up your way pretty nicely. So it makes it a lot easier to see the traps, and it makes it a lot easier to just see where you are in general. So really, really useful Flame Hollow. There's one left. Okay, let's get this one. And then we can get all the goodies and I can have a look at the chat, because I did see that you guys were posting something. There we go. Cool. Yeah, the tripwires suck so much. Oh my god. And some of them are really nicely hidden against the environment. That said, if you are lucky or just very, very skilled at hurting enemies, you can actually lead those kids into the tripwires. So, like right there. Boom, took off 1/3 of his health. You just really have to be careful where you're going and what you're hitting. Especially over here, if you jump down in the wrong space, you can actually land right in a tripwire. So I recommend that you jump down in this corner where you're perfectly safe, and then you just go from there. Ah, shit. So 10 years into the apocalypse, and apparently the museum PA system still works. Which is kind of impressive. And I am getting really frustrated with this dinosaur. But I gotta say, massive props to whoever designed this area, because it looks gorgeous, it feels creepy, and it gives adequate end of the world vibes. So, good job on all fronts. Alright, now let's make sure we do not jump into this fire. Alright, there we go. Now we have almost reached Avarice. Almost. Let's make sure we don't run into any of the remaining tripwires. Ow! And as I say this, I run into a tripwire. Amazing. Do as I say, not as I do. Now, you can actually jump onto this balcony over here. There's nothing to see there, you just get a very nice aerial overview of this entire area. There you go. It does look very beautiful. So, kudos to whoever designed this.
What manner of hoarder do we have here?
Mistress, your talisman. Be wary.
Alright. Now this is one of my favorite boss fights ever, because Avarice will use everything to fight us. He will throw everything at us and the kitchen sink. I am not even joking.
There wasn't much that the humans got right. But they did know art.
What?
Frankly, I think it's one of the reasons that the angels were so jealous of them. Have you ever seen one of those birds paint?
You're talking about art. Now. Here.
It's a museum. Well, certainly, we have our mission. I'm just saying.
Some people have no appreciation for the finer things in life.
Avarice.
Fury. Welcome to my Hall of Treasure. Unfortunately, you forgot to pay the entrance fee. Your life.
Take it if you dare, wretch!
So, a couple of things to note here. First of all, Avarice really collects everything, from just random junk to body parts of angels and demons to valuable antiquities, just anything that he can get his hands on. And he's gonna use it all to fight us. So, get ready for some really creative stuff to be thrown at you, literally and figuratively, in this fight, especially in the second part of the fight. Thankfully, his attacks are relatively easy to dodge usually. Except I am being an idiot today, apparently. There we go.
I am your end!
And a few things to note about the conversation between the Watcher and Fury there. Mostly that, as the Watcher says, humans did get art right, so apparently that is a thing that is not exactly all that common in the universe, and apparently angels are not very good at art. Now, we know that they are good with architecture, because we see some angelic architecture in the game, and it looks really beautiful. But she is right insofar as inside that architecture we never saw a single painting. we saw lots and lots of architecture, but no paintings. Oh, shit. And here is the part of the fight where Avarice will just use everything he can to, ouch, hurt us. Including a bathtub. And at one point he can even pick up a fridge to throw at us. Which,
All hunts must come to their inevitable...
There he goes, picks up a demon skull.
bloody
I remember the first time he actually whipped out the fridge to hit me with. I was actually laughing at my screen and just shouting, "That is not what fridging means, Avarice." Like, that's not what that term refers to. But I appreciate the creativity.
You will fall.
So let's see. Yeah, there he goes with the fridge.
You have hardly been worth the hunt.
That is not fridging, but okay. And the fridge, by the way, is the most sturdy object he has. Like, this thing can take so much punishment. He can hit you with that at least 10-15 times before it breaks. So... better get used to dodging this thing.
I am your end. Enjoy your collection, Avarice. For one final time!
Do you know what that art was worth?
One sinner's life. Who needs a museum when you can carry a collection in this?
Oh, Philistine.
And of course we're getting abducted right back into the hollows. Thankfully this time we don't actually have to fight our way out of the hollows again. So yeah, how are we doing on time? About 1 hour into the stream? Okay, so we're probably going to be able to do sloth as well. Neat.
Welcome again, Fury.
It's not like I had a choice in the matter. Do you kidnap all your guests?
You would not be so disrespectful if you knew the true power I give you. Your battle with Avarice proved you value your mission above material possessions. You are ready for stronger tools of destruction.
Another toy for me to play with. You're far too generous.
The Storm Hollow. Use it wisely.
Why not give me all your gifts and get it over with, if you're so keen to arm one of the horsemen?
Be gone!
Yeet. Now, here's the fun thing. You will always get the Storm Hollow after the first sin you defeat after the Flame Hollow. So it doesn't really matter whether you're defeating Sloth or Avarice first, you will get the Storm Hollow. But if you go for Sloth first, the Lord of Hollows will instead say something like, your battle with Sloth proved that you will not rest until your task is done. And so yeah, the dialogue changes just a little bit depending on which sin you defeat first. Because in theory, you can go any route you want, or 3 different routes at least, after you defeat, or after you do not quite defeat Wrath and you get the Flame Hollow. You can either follow the compass like we did and go to Avarice, or you could go to Sloth, or you could go to Lust, and then after Lust, again, you would have the choice, do you want to go to Gluttony, do you want to go to Avarice or Sloth? So you can actually play these in very different orders, and most of the time it doesn't make much of a difference, except for like this 1 or 2 dialogues. Now, a lot of people have speculated, can you get up there? Is there something behind there? Is this where the entrance to the DLC is going to be? But nope, there's nothing there. So we're not even going to bother. What I am going to say is the Storm Hollow, together with the Chaosbringer armor, really does make Fury look like War's bigger sister. So I actually, as much as I love the Flame Hollow for traversal, I do like running around with the Storm Hollow and the Chaosbringer armor, just for the resemblance. And of course Volgrim is going to try to butter us up as soon as we get to him. So, but first we're going to put another enhancement here.
By the way, I hope you don't take offense, Fury.
Yet I'm certain I will.
Yes, well, don't slaughter the messenger and puree his guts, as the saying goes. Whispers of your martial prowess have spread throughout certain circles, horseman. There are those who would like to put your talents to the test, if you wish to humor them.
I do not.
But if you did, out of curiosity or pride or plain old greed like a normal person, say the word, and the serpent hole shall convey you unto the Crucible.
The Crucible? Ugh, bit on the nose, isn't it?
Says the furious horseman named
Enough, Volgrim. What's in this for you?
10%. The demon's got to make a living. And for you, rewards that should pique a warrior's interest, assuming you survive. Consider it, or don't.
We are going to do the Crucible eventually, but only after we have unlocked all the waves of the Crucible, because otherwise there's really not much point. So this is going to take a while, but basically the Crucible...
What would you ask of this humble merchant?
The Crucible is a separate area from the game, created by a creature called Targon, who it's never really explained what he is, except it's basically like the arena in Darksiders similar to the arena in Darksiders Genesis, and in that you basically fight waves and waves of enemies, and the more waves you defeat, the better rewards you get. This armor that we're wearing right now, that is one of the rewards from the Crucible. So, yeah. Fun times. So, depending on difficulty level, going through the Crucible through all 100 waves can take anywhere from 45 minutes to 90 minutes. So, when we get to do this, we're going to do it as a standalone stream, because that thing is going to take us quite a while. Now, what we're going to do for now is we are going to buy from Volgrim these angelic artifacts and demonic artifacts.
I knew you couldn't resist.
He sells 3 of each after each of the sins and after the angelic champion. And you really do want to get them, because they're going to make your life a lot easier.
This will be fun for both of us.
We're also going to take this opportunity, now that we have bought some stuff, to go through the Serpent Holes and go back to the Maker's Forge, so we can basically upgrade our enhancements, especially the Chaos enhancement. We should now be able to upgrade that to at least +3, maybe even completely balance it, which is going to help us a lot. So that's why I'm saying you really want to buy these artifacts from Volgrim. It's just going to make your life so much easier. And we should be able to upgrade our whip as well, so... The one thing I gotta say for the Storm Hollow, when you get into an area with blue light, it makes your hair look this weird kind of neon yellow greenish color that I really don't like, but what can you do?
Well met, Fury. Aiming to lay down a mighty hurt. Didn't think it was possible. Ho ho! What beautiful havoc you'll wreak with that. Ho ho! What beautiful havoc you'll wreak with it. You think it was possible, but now you're even deadlier. Interesting. All right. Let's see what I can do for you. Did you think it was possible, but now you're even deadlier.
So yeah, as you can see, the little lore blips for this one are relatively useless. They don't really say much interesting things, just generic battle taunts. And
you're even deadlier.
I guess we need a few more for this. Too bad.
Interesting. Take care. And, watch your back, eh?
Oh, by the way, once you rescue a couple of humans, you can actually find them here in Haven, and I did actually, for fanfic purposes, at some point keep track of which human goes where. And yes, every single one of the ones you rescue will be here. So this is the first one we ever rescued.
How can I ever repay you? Thanks for saving me. Thanks for saving me. Thank you.
And they all have some, like, 2 or 3 generic lines that they can say. Mostly they are very grateful for our help, so good job.
What would you ask of this humble merchant?
No,
Please take your time.
we are going to go back to the Serpent Hall, and here is the one time that we are actually going to diverge from where the compass at the top of the screen is trying to take us, because this thing is going to try to take us to Pride, and then it's going to try to take us all the way back to Sloth, when actually if we follow just from where Avarice was, we are going to naturally arrive on the path to Sloth. So we're just going to ignore Bride for now, and we're just going to head for Sloth. Just to save us some backtracking, because otherwise we'd have to go way out of our way to come back. Now be careful, there are going to be a few of those Molotov cocktail kits over here, so let's make sure we do not get hit by those and we do not fall into these holes. There we go, there they are. Alright, I don't think we will ever have to come back here, but anyway. Once you open up this, it will open up both the path to the access tunnel, Serpent Hall, and the path forward. So whenever you see one of those switches, just click them, because usually they open up nice backtracking paths that you can use later if you have to.
Back to this enchanting scenery. You take me to all the best places.
At least we're better prepared this time around. But feel free to leave any time, Watcher.
You wish.
Ouch. Now, as you can see, the compass wants us to go left, it wants us to go back up to the crossroads. We're not going to do that, because Sloth is right over there, and it will actually be easier to just go to him and then go to Pride. Alright, and the path to Slough is very, very easy to miss. Like, probably one of the most often asked questions that we ever got on the Discord was, how do I get to Slough? And basically, you have to go back here and you have to burn down this web. Which, by the time you get the hollow to burn it down, you have probably forgotten this thing even exists. So, lots of people running in circles, not knowing how to find Slough. Before we go to Slough, we're going to take a tiny little detour. First of all, because there was another web that we couldn't burn down before, which we're also going to get now. And we're going to go down here to get ourselves an angelic artifact. And then we're going to go back to where we fought Wrath for some very sad dialogue. But first, angelic artifact. Oh. Oh! Fuck off. Stupid bug. Oops. Oh, come on. Fury, don't do this to me. There we go. I do also like that every single time you switch to hollow forms, you get like a little sound effect that matches the hollow. And using the hollow weapon is basically like stabbing people with an electrified fork. It's very satisfying. Now the Storm Hollow, as you can see, allows you to glide, and when you get to one of those wind currents that we saw earlier, it allows you to glide up those currents. But here's the thing, you never need the Storm Hollow for traversal during the main story, which I think is just criminal. I would love for them to actually have incorporated this thing at some point, but nope. We're not going to go down this area because we're going to get to that later as well. For now, we're going to go for sad dialogue.
Can we go from this place? The present is tiring enough without reliving the sins of the past.
But someone is going to pay for what they did to that animal. They'll pay in screams.
I want to say rest in peace, Rampage, but I already know what's going to happen, so... feels kind of disingenuous to say that at a point. People who have played the game know what I'm referring to. But yeah, so this little dialogue with Rampage, I probably did not get this for like the first 5 or 6 times, and then I came back here because this angelic artifact that we got over here, that was patched into the game later, because when the game released originally, it was missing 2 angelic artifacts, so they patched in 2 additional artifacts later, and that was one of them. And as for the chat, yes, Rampage is pretty thin for an apocalyptic horse, but he's also pretty dead for an apocalyptic horse, so let's not be too hard on him. Alright, now we can finally go and fight, or go towards Slough, and hopefully manage to fight him. Got like about 50 minutes left, so hopefully we will get it done. Now, the areas that we're going to get into now, it's very important that you fight these enemies one at a time unless you want to get overwhelmed. So this one right here, this enemy is called a mimic. Those are ridiculously tough to dodge, usually, at least in my opinion. I can almost never dodge them properly. So I always like to take those one at a time, because otherwise they can just cut you to pieces. So we took care of the mimic, then we took care of the normal minion thing. And now we can go for that spider, that four-legged spider thing that we saw crawling away. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, nice, I got him stuck. Neat. Perfect. Come here. And I just lost my sound. Hang on a second, guys. There we go. Alright. Same here. Ideally you want to fight these one at a time. So we get the attention of this one. And then we take them out one at a time, make our life a lot easier. Alright, now, this thing. Come here. Alright, there we go. Now we're gonna have to come back for this wall once we have the fourth hollow, which is still going to take a while. We're not gonna get that today, but probably next week. And then basically once we have all the hollows, I'm just going to do a quick run through all the areas where I still have stuff left to get. Oh shit, now I've got two of them. Awesome. And one just committed suicide by diving into the water. Fun times. So yeah, basically in this game, any enemy that comes into contact with water dies, which is especially hilarious in the case of the deep lurkers, who can attack you both on water and on land, underwater and on land. But if they basically start attacking you on land and then you push them into water, they die. And I'm just like, you guys live in water. You have on occasion attacked me underwater. Like, how does getting submerged kill you? What's the logic here? Goodbye. And as you can see, now that we have upgraded our health steal a little bit, this is actually filling up our health bar pretty nicely. Now, fun fact, if you use the flame hollow, the moment you jump into water, your flames go out. So underwater you're actually better off using the storm hollow for better visibility. And another fun fact, Fury's swimming style exactly matches Dev's. So apparently she learned from him. Or at least they learned from the same person, but I like to imagine it was Dev who taught her how to swim. Also fun to note, the worst swimming style does actually not match Dev. So he must have learned it from somebody else. Alright. Oh, perfect. There are two mimics in this area. I do usually try to make sure that I take them out one at a time. Just makes life a lot easier. And what we just saw right now, that's the beauty of using the Storm Hollow in battle. You can actually throw that spear. So you can actually use that for a long distance counter, if you get the timing right.
What do you want? What? What is this?
Alright, now we are about to get into a section that can be absolutely infuriating if you don't have Havoc form, because it includes an enemy that can actually call for reinforcements. So once we get past this little corner here, we want to switch into Havoc form, because that's just going to make our life so much easier. Ow! Ow, 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 ow! Jesus Christ. This is why I say I hate dodging those mimics. I can never quite get the dodge right on those. And I should probably use up my small healing shards a bit more, because those are going to be so useless from pretty much here on onwards. Wilhelm Scream. So we're gonna have to fight that spider in just a bit, and we're actually going to let her defeat us. Now this is the guy who can call reinforcements. We're just gonna switch right into Havoc form and take care of him because I really don't want this thing to call even more. There we go. This actually looks very, very beautiful. And now we're going to confront the Harvester, and like I said, we're gonna let the Harvester actually kill us because it has it gives us extra dialogue and it gives us access to an area that we would otherwise not be able to access until much, much later. So this is gonna be painful, but I'm just gonna let her kill me.
What are you doing there? Where do you think you're taking her?
I would not call this spider a friend. These spiders are called harvesters, and way too big for my liking. I do hope that this does not count as a combat death, because if it does, then all the enemies we already defeated will have respawned, which would suck.
What happened? Where am I?
Mistress, how do you feel?
Not great. The Harvester.
It would appear you have been saved for later. An afternoon snack, perhaps.
Oh joy. Yeah, so normally we would only be able to access this area after we have the Force Hollow. So by getting defeated by the Harvester, we actually sneaked in here a little early. Which I guess is not too bad, because there's a bunch of stuff that we can get here. This labyrinth is very easy to miss, but there's basically a tiny little maze after this section where you can get a ton of stuff. And no, don't go over the edge, please. If you go over the edge, I won't get your adamantine. Just stay here. Thank you. Yeah, the baby spiders, those are broodlings. Or at least that's what they're called in the art book. They are cute. They can be annoying if they gang up on you, but they're cute. But the Harvester, not so much. Alright, now this section over there I absolutely hated. 2 mimics at the same time, like what the fuck, seriously, do we have to do this? Alright, now the most important thing about this maze is most of the holes that have one of these bone web cocoons over them, you do not want to jump down because those will take you out of the maze. For the most part, you do not want to jump down any of these holes. This is one of the few that's safe to jump down to, and that you should actually take in order to get to more of the maze. If it is any consolation to Fury, within this series, he's not the only one who gets swept up by a giant spider, so... She and War can trade battle stories about this.
I don't want to die!
Now, this human is a little further up, we can't get to her just yet. We will get to her in just a bit.
What do you want? Please.
So that's, I think, 3 humans that we have saved now. And this is one of the holes that's actually safe to jump down into. So let's get down here and let's get back to where we need to go, which is back over here. So now we're back where we fought the 2 mimics. And we can move on from here. Alright, I think there's going to be, yep, a few more over here. So let's get the small ones out of the way first. And there is a Gunfire Games logo. In every single one of these games you have the developer name appearing somewhere. So this time it's up here, webbed up in a billboard.
This ends now!
Oh, shut up, I'm gonna save you. No worries.
I don't want to die! Please, save me!
Done. Saved. Stop whining. Alright, and that should be the last few bits and pieces for this dungeon. Cool. Now we can get out of here. And unfortunately there is no way to get out of here that will not drop us in the middle of a whole bunch of enemies. So we're just gonna have to live with this and gonna try to not get killed, basically. Because once you drop down here, we've got a whole bunch of small spiders. We've got one of those, no, two of those cockroaches. One of the bigger spiders, and there should also be a minion around here somewhere. So normally I would like to use Havoc Form for this area, but since we kind of shortcutted our way to here, we can't. But it did actually go pretty well, so good. Good for us. And now we could theoretically work our way from here to Sloth. But I want to backtrack a little bit and basically get to the area that we skipped just now, because there is an angelic artifact, a demonic artifact, and one of the best enhancements on that path. So before we go forward, we're just going to clear out this, and then we're actually going to go backward for a little bit. But we are very close to Sloth now, so at least we won't have to backtrack very far. Let's take off you as well. All right. Smash some stuff over here. And now this is a serpent hole that we basically completely skipped by getting defeated. And we're going to backtrack from here in order to get the second best enhancement of the game, which is Juggernaut, which raises your physical defense, or decreases the physical damage you take. So this area of the game is naturally super dark. You really want to be using the Flame Hollow here, because otherwise you won't be able to see shit.
Perhaps you can light the way with your scintillating personality. If so, do it quietly. I don't think we're alone.
Oh, no shit. We're already getting attacked from all sides, and you're saying we're not alone? What an observant watcher. Alright. Just gonna clear out this side and then we get to the enhancement. And there we go, basically. Oh, leave me alone, goddamn you. You wanna crawl underneath here. Let's see if we can push this guy over the edge. Nah, dies first. Okay. Fine. Works for me. Alright, now this fight over here is so annoying if you don't have Havoc form, because it's basically two of those giant grabs that we fought before.
You're not the only luminous being in the dark.
I think there's only a total of 4 of these in the entire game.
All
But
this fumbling in the
my
dark
god, is it
pays
annoying
off.
if you have to fight these two at the same time
You're not well, mistress.
without Havoc form. Alright, now we have one of them already gone. Ow!
This ends now. I am your end.
There we go. And this is the second angelic artifact that was patched into the game, and the Juggernaut enhancement. So we're gonna equip this right away. Even looks like someone is flexing. Okay. And as soon as you have upgraded the Chaos enhancement, you want to focus on upgrading this one because it's really, really good. Also, I just noticed I have skill points that I haven't even distributed, or attribute points. Alright, and now we backtrack just a little further until we get back to where we fought the Harvester. And then we can go all the way back and go towards Sloth.
Bastards never stood a chance, did they?
Who?
Earthlings. Of any species.
No, she's right, we never did stand a chance. So glad of you to finally notice that, Fury. Alright, so this is where we fought the Harvester. You cannot fight her again. You don't have to worry about getting ambushed here. But we're just gonna destroy everything, pick up everything we can, and then we're gonna go back to the Grotto Serpent Hole. And there you go. So you don't actually miss out on anything if you get defeated. You just have to backtrack a little bit. And Sacha, you're in the chat with the hard-hitting questions. What would an omelette from those eggs taste like? I'm sure it would be delicious, but only once. Because afterwards you'd probably be dead. But now I want some burgers. From Gold Burger. I mean, it's it's just my personal interpretation, but considering that the Nephilim were a nomadic race who basically scorched the planets that they invaded, I kind of have the headcanon that they just, for cooking, just took whatever they killed and threw it on a barbecue. So there was probably a lot of very weird food. And at some point probably somebody did make an omelette out of these. So, yeah. Who knows? Maybe harvester eggs are a delicacy.
Hold still!
Now, there is a fight that we're gonna have to get into over here, which I absolutely hate. In this corner over there, where we can see this item, there are 3 mimics. And if you try to fight all of them at the same time, you're probably going to get your ass kicked. So, we want to be really, really careful where we go over here. Yeah. So that's 2, and that's number 3. Alright, and it's time to rescue that human that we heard earlier. So, here we go.
What do you want? Please.
The one thing that I am kind of sad about is that there's a lot less design variation in these humans than there should have been according to the art books, because in the art books they have all these, in the art book for DS3 they have all these amazing sketches of like different humans of different ages and different POCs and stuff, and it's like, it's kind of a shame that we do get like a couple of black survivors, but we do get, for example, only get black guys. We don't have a single female black survivor in here. All of the women are essentially Caucasian, and I'm like, you had so many wonderful sketches of like black women, Asian women, and none of it made it into the game. Sad missed opportunity. Oh well. Alright, now we are almost at Sloth. The next serpent hole that we are going to get into is also a serpent hole that was added extra. And before that was added, basically every single time you wanted to get to Sloth, if you died fighting Sloth, you would have to go through this entire area down there that we had with the crabs and the spiders and all of the minions. Like, you had to have to go through all of that again.
Mistress,
like, why?
your talisman.
We're close. This time you watch. You do not speak.
So I am very, very glad that I added this serpent hole, because if you die fighting Sloth, this just makes your life so much easier.
Fury. Fantastic.
Your day of reckoning is at hand, Sloth. You will be judged in combat like all the others.
Darling, please. Do I look like I'll be fighting anything or anyone anytime soon?
You have no choice.
There's always a choice, darling. I choose not to choose. Too much of a bother. I'd laugh at you, but it's too much effort. Don't take offense. You're playing your part well in our wee morality play. But really, why bother? It's the apocalypse. Woo. I'm completely over it. My sole concern is comfort.
That sounds familiar.
Mouth!
And as you can see, I have my many minions for that. It's all they live for. You should try it. I'll spot you a few slaves if you'll just relax.
I shall once you and your kin lie dead. I only hope the rest put up more of a fight than you!
Let them stand or fall. It matters not to me. You understand, don't you, horseman? The futility of it. Why not join me? Take a load off and enjoy the nothingness. I bet you'd take to it quite easily.
Would you abandon your mission?
No!
Is that so? The Great Fury would not allow herself to fall prey to such a creature. Are you truly up to the task?
Honestly, there are just way too many bugs in this cutscene and this fight for my comfort. Like, my skin is crawling just looking at this.
That one clean off this filthy smear of a wood. For the nature. You owe me a throne, but I'll settle for your head.
You're no match for
Now,
me.
Lost hit pretty hard, and I'm using the Storm Hollow here to clear out his small minions that he has fighting with him,
And now,
just to make sure that they don't hit me while he is trying to hit me. He does hit pretty hard, but once you get his patterns down and manage to dodge him,
now.
he is really not all that tough to defeat.
Accursed wretch!
You're amazing. And been well fed. Can we start partying now? Congratulations. You must be so fulfilled. What change do you think killing me will enact on this sad crusade?
Are you begging? Muster up a little dignity.
Sweetheart, I let slaves wipe my ass with the wings of angels while I enjoy a morning tea. Dignity is a myth, like the balance you fight for. Aren't you exhausted?
Yes.
But even the most grueling fight is less tiring than taking no action at all.
Yeah, those poor angels. Sloth's ass is definitely not a picture I wanted in my mind, thank you very much. But yes, that fight went very smooth. Now we just have to see if we get the bug with the bug, as I like to call it. Because previously there was a bug with Sloth where he would not drop a luminous visage. So let's see how it goes this time.
Most exercise he's had in a millennium.
Oh, he did drop it. Nice. Alright. As for the comments from the chat, Gluttony is, in my opinion, the hardest fight in Darksiders 3. Especially because the #1 thing you need to know for fighting him is something that the game does not tell you until 2 levels later. So, yeah. he can be really tough. But we will talk about that when we get there. For now, we are going to burn down these webs, get over there, and make sure that we buy Volgrim's artifact. And then we're going to go back to Haven, get some upgrades, and I think that's going to be it for today then, because we are getting very close to the end of our 2 hours. Let me just shatter all of these.
Your reputation precedes you, horseman. The crucible is buzzing, and Targon wishes to meet the warrior behind the words.
How flattering.
You may flatter him with a visit in turn.
Not yet. We'll pass.
What would you ask? Take your time. A wise decision. I knew you couldn't resist.
Alright, I think we finally have enough money to actually buy this.
I knew you couldn't
these
resist.
armors are basically just reskins of our normal armor themed around the hollows. So we have one that's more orange, one that's more golden yellow, and then later we will get one that's purple and one that's blue. They are relatively good insofar as they give you more lurchers when shattering crystals. So if you're trying to do all 9 tiers of New Game Plus and upgrade all your armors and reach level 300 and all that, then it is worthwhile buying one of these just for the extra lurchers that you get from shattering crystals.
As you wish.
But we are not going to bother, and we're also not going to bother with the race enhancement for now. We're going to buy it late in the game when we're basically swimming in money. Or swimming in souls, I should say. But yeah, getting a bunch of level ups now.
As you wish.
Fun fact, once you get to New Game Plus, and especially the higher New Game Plus levels, you will no longer need all those artifacts. So if you are still raiding the game world for everything you can find, then you can get so many souls. I remember at one point in, I think it was New Game Plus 6, I realized that I didn't actually need all those artifacts anymore, but I still needed souls for level ups. So I basically sold all of my artifacts, and I got about 2 million souls just from selling artifacts and adamantine that I no longer needed. I was a lot of level ups that day. Alright, this time the buck gets to live. Because the compass naturally takes us back on the path to Pride, which means we're actually pretty much going back almost entirely back to Haven. We have to go back to the crossroads and go from there. But we're basically taking a slightly different path back to the crossroads, where we get some extra items. So that's why I'm not just taking the Serpent Hole. As for the question from chat, 2 million souls, And Fafnir, it used to be that the Fafnir enhancement would give you, would increase your damage depending on how many souls you had in your inventory, and it would do so without limitation. That was eventually patched so that you get a maximum of 30% damage boost. So Fafnir is no longer the game-breaking thing that it was before. Personally, I never used it even before then, at least not for its active. I sometimes used it for the passive, but not for the active, because I don't know, I just considered it cheesing the game. And the only time I want to cheese the game is when I'm playing the Crucible, and I don't want to be bothered playing it naturally. And by the time the Crucible was introduced, Fafnir was nerfed. So really no point there, and wow, these loading times are crazy. But no, the 2 million souls I basically used for level ups, because once you get into the higher ranges of levels, once you get past level 70 or so, you will need 50,000 souls per level up. So that can get really expensive really fast. The good news is, if you are also diligently picking up your luminous visages, you can get, and you do all 9 tiers of New Game Plus, you can get up to 160 luminous visages. So you basically only have to level until level 140, and then you can just pop the luminous visages for the rest. Which makes your life a lot easier, because again, after level 70 or so, the soul count for those level ups really goes through the roof. Now this is where we'll have to go next week in order to get to Pride. For now, I do want to go back to Haven. I do want to talk to Ulfane and upgrade some of my stuff. And then we're gonna call it a day. Question from the chat: how many hours have I put into this game up to date? Oh my god, oh my god. Way too many. I don't even want to know. I did one full playthrough where I upgraded all the armor, so that was, I think, 12 or 13 tiers of New Game Plus. Before they did all the New Game Plus thing, I did one with the Crucible, so I probably have about 24 playthroughs of this game by now. Maybe more. And each one of those playthroughs takes probably around at least 15 to 20 hours. So that's a lot.
There's a fair bit more noise around here of late. Thanks to you. You've given humanity a chance. And in kind, I have a gift for you. This trinket will enhance your raw power, making you an even more formidable threat.
Alright, so now we get Rider's Mercy. Forged by Ulfane, this medallion harnesses the faith and appreciation of rescued humans, converting it into raw energy that greatly enhances Fury skills. Now, this is actually interesting from a lore point of view. So apparently, human faith and appreciation can power magic. Which, I mean, hey, if it ends up that humanity's biggest weapon in the fight against angels and demons is the power of love and friendship and belief, and we're doing the entire anime shonen thing, like, I'm fine with that. Like, that would be hilarious.
Aiming to lay down a ho-ho. What beautiful havoc you're... Interesting. All right. Let's see what I can do for you.
Okay. Cool, now we can finally upgrade this.
But now, give me ho-ho. What beautiful havoc you'll wreak with that.
So you can see now we have 6% health steal, which is pretty good. And we have plus 200% for havoc duration, which is insane. It's really, really good. And now we upgrade this one as well, as much as we can.
Some of my best work. Some of my best work.
So in between this and our Chaos Bringer armor, we've got some pretty good physical damage reduction. And Ulfane will continue to upgrade our Rider's Mercy as we go through the game, depending on how many humans we have saved. So that's what, even if you don't feel motivated to save the humans just because, then now you have a actual gameplay justification for saving them. It's actually going to make your life easier. And yeah, the distilled essence steaming from deep gratitude radiates from this trinket, providing several empowering benefits. So yeah, human emotion can power magic. Who knew? Anyway, I'm just gonna take that elevator down to the Crossroads Serpent Hall, and then that's gonna be the end of this stream for today. Not that much lore to talk about today, but such is the life. Anyway, I hope you guys had some fun, and I hope to see you again next week, as usual, Sunday, 8 p.m. Irish time. And until then, have a good one, take care, and stay safe. And I'll see you then. Bye bye, guys.